What is the meaning of life when everything is destined to fade away? What remains after death if everything we build eventually disappears? And how can one face existence in a world full of pain, suffering, or uncertainties of any kind? These are questions many avoid or try to ignore, but sooner or later in life, especially for the most sensitive, self-aware, or personally growth-oriented individuals, they become inevitable. No amount of success, wealth, or fame can suppress these existential stirrings, for they elude the ephemeral and all that is material and superficial. To seek answers, the only solution is to delve deep within. If there is one man who never shied away from such existential doubts, it was Leo Tolstoy, one of the greatest Russian writers and a giant of world literature. He lived with restlessness for many years, desperately seeking answers to quell his inner conflicts and spiritual disorientation. Despite a youth marked by privilege and acclaim, his dissatisfaction only grew. Torn between the desire to indulge in worldly pleasures and a tormenting guilt, he sought answers through writing. His works brought him fame and wealth, yet none of it filled the void within. After achieving success with epical novels, he found himself questioning the meaning of his existence with even greater anguish. If neither prestige nor family stability could ease his torment, then what could? This question became an obsession, leading him to a crisis so intense that he contemplated abandoning everything, even his own life. Nothing seemed to hold meaning anymore, and the world appeared to him as a grand illusion. In an autobiographical work, he described with brutal honesty his darkest thoughts, the sleepless nights spent searching for answers that never came, and the feeling of being trapped in a spiral of despair. But instead of surrendering, he chose to confront the problem with fearless resolve, embarking on a long inner journey that would lead him to explore the depths of his soul. He began with philosophy, immersing himself in the ideas of great thinkers. He sought solace in the reflections of Socrates, Buddha, and Schopenhauer, but the more he studied, the more his confusion grew. Every answer seemed to lead only to new questions. Every certainty crumbled under the weight of his unease. Theories depicting life as a purposeless struggle only amplified his sense of emptiness. Even science, with its ability to explain how the world works, failed to give him what he sought, a profound reason to exist. Knowing how things function did not mean understanding why. Tolstoy identified 4 ways people attempt to confront life's absurdity. Indifference. Many go through existence without ever reflecting on its meaning, lost in daily routines, in the matrix, accepting events without asking uncomfortable questions. Work, leisure, social obligations, and ingrained habits fill their days, creating the illusion of a structured, fulfilling life. But this strategy works only until an unexpected event, a loss, a failure, a personal crisis, shatters the ordinary flow, forcing them to look beyond the surface. The pursuit of pleasure, an attempt to numb anguish through temporary distractions, food, sex, consumerism, or other forms of instant gratification. Those who follow this path cling to material pleasures as their sole purpose, believing that accumulating frivolous experiences, possessions, or accolades can give their existence meaning. But this approach proves fragile, for the inner void always resurfaces. Satisfaction is fleeting, and every fulfillment gives way to new dissatisfaction, in an endless chase toward something that never truly suffices, toward desires often born of manufactured needs. Total rejection of life. A path some take when despair seems inescapable. Those who find no answers or footholds may come to see existence as a meaningless sentence, an unbearable burden. Tolstoy himself, in his darkest moments, contemplated this option, viewing it as the only escape from anguish with no apparent solution. But he came to realize that this was not an answer, but a surrender, a way to evade the problem rather than face it. Paralysis. Some recognize life's absurdity, but remain stuck in limbo, unable to find direction. They see the absence of absolute meaning clearly, but cannot choose a path, living in a constant state of waiting, never making a decisive move. They survive rather than live, dragged along by events without true inner drive. Tolstoy realized that none of these paths offered a real solution, for all were based on avoidance rather than confrontation. But if nothing truly had meaning, why did so many people live with apparent serenity? This led him to a pivotal insight that would change his life forever. After failing to find answers in books, philosophy, or science, he turned his gaze elsewhere. He began observing others. And in doing so, he noticed something astonishing about the humblest and simplest people. Despite their hardships, they seemed to live with a serenity that eluded him. It was not ignorance or superficiality, but a different kind of inner strength, rooted in something he did not yet understand. Peasants, for example, led hard lives full of difficulties yet seemed at peace, almost carefree. Their existence was not based on the pursuit of knowledge or pleasure, but on an unshakable faith, a trust in something greater that gave them the strength to endure even the harshest trials. This realization led him to reconsider spirituality, not as a dogma imposed from above, but as a profound answer to questions reason could not resolve. This new perspective radically changed his way of life. He abandoned luxury and the pursuit of success, dedicating himself to a simpler, more authentic existence. He found peace not in absolute answers, but in the ability to accept uncertainty and derive meaning from daily action. His experience shows that the meaning of life is not found in fame, wealth, or knowledge, but in something deeper, residing within us. What if the meaning of life cannot be grasped by reason alone? What if the answer lies not in books or theories, but in a different way of seeing the world? Perhaps this is Tolstoy's greatest lesson. The true key may lie in our ability to give personal meaning to existence, regardless of everything happening around us.